Hello, beautiful souls, Alina here. Welcome to my channel where I'm unpacking my trauma healing journey and my spiritual awakening. Today I want to share something that I came across in my journey, which is the childhood programming. It literally blew my mind. Once I discovered this concept, it blew my mind. It helped me realize so many things about myself, and I hope it will be useful for someone if you come across this video. So there's a sentence from Carl Jung that I love, and it states, until you don't make the subconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. And I swear to you, this is what has been happening to me. 33 years of my life, and I've been living ruled by my traumas. Like, my personality was based on everything that happened to me in my childhood. Now that I started to work on this, like, I started to peel layers of my being and understanding that actually, I can be different. It's seriously, this concept has helped me a lot. So I want to share it with you to enlighten a tiny bit what it is, and maybe it's a concept that can help you as well. So what it is, the childhood programming. Simply put, is like a blueprint of your life. When you come in this world, obviously your brain, it's clean. It doesn't have any memories, it doesn't have any experiences. So what you do is like you slowly build up your experiences. And what actually impacts the perception of your reality nowadays is how your childhood has been. So in terms of like which kind of parents you had, were your parents emotionally available, which kind of environment you grew up in, did you grow up in a wealthy household, in a poor household, do you come from a minority? There's so many things that they can impact your programming. And for me has been fascinating, to understand how children actually create coping mechanisms to kind of let's say to survive to whatever is happening to you. So if you're lucky enough and you come in a beautiful, you are born into a beautiful family with healthy parents, with emotionally available parents, that they kind of teach you with love and kindness, and they love you, and you just grow up to be a normal and functional human being. There are people like this in the world, apparently. And if you are not that lucky, let's say, well, it's not a matter of luck or unluck, because I also believe that your soul chooses the challenges that it wants kind of to have in life. So before you come here, this is something that I've been discovering now in my spiritual awakening. So before you actually come into this world, your soul chooses these challenges. So when I look at my trauma, when I look at my childhood experience and everything that happened to me in my life, now I can actually see that there has been a meaning to it. It wasn't just suffering for nothing. It kind of led me to the moment where I am now. So, and actually what happens, that you start to map your world, you start to map your reality, you start to create the perception of your reality with your experiences as a child. And what happens is, if you grow up in an unhealthy household, you kind of start to develop survival patterns. There's nothing wrong with them, because let's say that these patterns, they help to keep you alive. So you kind of had to cope with the skills and the tools that you had at that time, so when you was a child, to kind of just to survive. If you were living in an abusive household, or you lived with parents that they were emotionally unavailable, or you didn't really have parents, you had to develop all sorts of coping mechanisms to keep going, to keep going with your life, because this is how humans are programmed. Because at the end of the day, we are animals, so we have this instinct of survival. So what happens is simply you develop these patterns to survive, but not necessarily these patterns are healthy, and you kind of, once you develop them, they don't really go away until you don't do the work for them to go away. So until you don't become aware of them and you don't make the unconscious conscious, they don't go away. So in your adult life, you end up to be in certain types of perhaps relationship. You end up being in abusive relationships. You end up of having same type of behaviors over and over and over, and you don't understand why. So you just, it's like you're living your life on a loop, And this loop is infinite because you are not understanding why you cannot get rid of these patterns. And simply because you are not aware that these patterns, they are coming from your childhood. So for me personally, once I started to realize that all of these patterns, all of my life loops, they were predetermined by my childhood experiences, I actually started, to dive deep in whatever happened to me as a child, and started to analyze my life, and slowly trying to understand where, from which kind of experiences experience I developed this pattern, and then trying to rewrite it. So amongst different survival patterns that you can develop, there's, for example, avoidance and withdrawal. So if you grow up in an abusive household where your emotions, they weren't really met, you kind of learn to suppress them and to withdraw within yourself, because maybe sometimes, when you try to express your emotions, they are not really met in a good way. So to kind of protect yourself, you develop this coping mechanism. Or if you grow up, for example, in a chaotic household where arguments, they weren't handled properly, or there was just chaos in general, what you develop, for example, like control issues. So you try to control everything, you try to control any well, I'm smiling there because it's one of the things that I'm trying to, like, I do generally in life, that I try to control, I try to control any type of outcome, which sometimes, there's things in life that you cannot control, but still you're trying to control them, and this can be a source of a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. So this year has been a bit of a, let's say, of a journey for me. To, here in Spain they say, go with the flow, by fluyendo. So this year I was trying, to go with the flow, to kind of let it go and try to don't control my life that much. It's working, but it's a work in progress. Let's say I'm still working on it, but realizing, that you have this type of coping mechanism is the first step. Then you can work on it, to try to rewrite it. So in terms of breaking the patterns, what you could do to break the patterns. For me personally, what helped me a lot, meditation. Meditation helped me so much. My first experience with meditation was like 2 minutes, and these 2 minutes I got so overwhelmed. At the time I was living with my cat and my dog. They started to jump on top of me. I didn't have a moment of peace, and I had this woman, it was a guided meditation, and I had this woman talking into my headphones, and I was like, oh my gosh, what the hell is this? So it wasn't a great experience, but slowly I developed a routine, and now I'm meditating every day, and getting in touch with yourself, it's the best thing that you can do to break from these patterns. Also, therapy helps a lot, having somebody to talk to. Could be a therapist, or also there is like friend therapy. So if you have people that you trust, and this is another point that is really, very important in breaking these patterns, is that you have to surround yourself with healthy relationships. This is the most important thing, healthy relationships. And for me has been also like good exercise, cut off people from my life that they haven't been very healthy for me. And once I started to realize that I'm ending up in a toxic cycle, I needed to cut these people off to kind of preserve my mental peace and my mental well-being. And there's a statement that also I love, that represents me a lot, and it's: the quality of your life depends from the quality of your relationships. So it is fundamental to have healthy people around you, emotionally available people, healthy people with who you can actually be open, and you don't have to hide yourself, you don't have to wear a mask, you don't have to pretend to be somebody else. And other things that you can do is mindfulness. Mindfulness is like, become aware of things that you're feeling, of the emotions that they're coming up, to don't repress them. And there's many different techniques that you can apply, but let's say that I'm gonna maybe I'm gonna unpack it in my next videos, but for now what I really recommend is therapy, meditation, mindfulness, and healthy relationships. The most important thing, healthy relationships. And one last thing is forgiving yourself, be gentle with yourself, and you did what you could with the tools, the skills, and the knowledge that you had at the time. And whichever coping mechanism which you adopted, know this, has been for your greater good. You needed those to survive. You might not need them now, but you needed them at the time. So don't blame yourself for anything that happened to you. Don't blame yourself for any type of coping mechanism that you develop, and don't blame yourself for the person that you are now. The only thing that you can do is become better. That's it. Whatever happened to you in the past is in the past. But now you have the choice, and you have the possibility to rewrite yourself and reprogram yourself and get out of this of these patterns now that you are reliving constantly. And yeah, I hope this video has been useful. So yeah, really the choice is yours. The choice is either be stuck in your loop, in your current patterns, or break free from them and try, to improve your life. Because the choice is really yours. You can be living in a prison and seeing this world as hell, like it was happening to me for this 33 years of my life, or you can actually start to rewire yourself, rewire your brain, create new neurological connections, and you actually have the possibility to be living in a healthier way, and maybe seeing this world as a playground rather than a prison. And everything starts from you. It's not hard, it's not easy. It's not hard, yeah, it is hard. It is very hard. It's hard, it's not easy. But if I could do it, if I'm doing it, everybody can. At the end of the day, everybody is a human being, and we're all capable of doing it. So yeah, don't give up. Bye.